So, today we're going to talk about a hidden superhighway inside your own body, the vagus nerve. Seriously, it's this master controller that's constantly working behind the scenes, and you're about to find out just how crucial it is to, well, pretty much everything. Okay, let's just start with a big question to get your head wrapped around this. What if I told you there was a single nerve, a kind of biological data cable that directly linked your brain to your heart, your lungs, and your digestive system? Well, guess what? There is. And understanding it is a huge key to understanding how you feel both physically and mentally.
All right, first things first, let's trace the path of this incredible nerve. What exactly is it, and how in the world did it get such a strange and interesting name?
Your brain has these 12 pairs of special nerves called cranial nerves. You can think of them as its executive team, its direct lines to the rest of the body. Now, the vagus nerve, which is also called Cranial Nerve X, isn't just on the team, it's the one with the most impressive travel itinerary. It's by far the longest and most complex of the bunch. And this is where that cool name comes from. Vagus is actually Latin for wandering, and that is the perfect description. This nerve literally wanders down from the brainstem, through your neck and chest, and all the way into your abdomen, branching out to connect with almost every major organ it passes. So now that we know what it is, let's take a tour of the body and see what this wandering nerve is actually up to. Because it's not just some passive cable, it's a very active two-way communication network. You see, the vagus nerve really has two main jobs. It has sensory functions, which means it's constantly collecting information, like an internal reporter, and sending that intel up to the brain. And then it has motor functions, carrying commands from the brain back down to tell your organs and muscles what to do. It's a two-way street. So, on the sensory side, what's it reporting on? Oh, all kinds of stuff. It's picking up sensations from the skin right behind your ear, from your throat, your heart, your lungs, and most of your gut. It's basically the reason your brain has any clue what's going on deep inside your body from moment to moment. And what about the commands it's sending out? Well, these are for actions you probably never even think about. It's stimulating the muscles that let you swallow your food and speak. It's telling your heart to slow down and chill out when you're resting. And it triggers those muscle contractions that move food through your gut. All of this, absolutely essential for survival. Of course, when you have a nerve that's this important and this far-reaching, if something goes wrong, the effects can be felt all over the place. So let's take a look at what happens when this superhighway gets damaged or disrupted. Because this nerve is so incredibly long, the symptoms of damage really depend on where the problem is. It could lead to trouble speaking, an altered heart rate, or some really serious digestive issues. You can just see from this list how varied the problems can be, affecting everything from your voice to your blood pressure. Let's look at a really clear example, gastroparesis. This is a condition that's directly linked to vagus nerve damage. See, if the nerve can't properly signal the stomach muscles to contract and push food along, the stomach just doesn't empty the way it's supposed to. It's a total communication breakdown. And the results of that are, as you can imagine, deeply unpleasant. People with this can feel full almost immediately after starting to eat, suffer from terrible nausea and reflux, and might even vomit undigested food hours later. It's a perfect illustration of what happens when those motor commands we just talked about go offline. Now, here's another really common one, vasovagal syncope. This is when the vagus nerve actually overreacts to some kind of trigger. Instead of just gently calming the heart, it basically slams on the brakes, causing this rapid drop in heart rate and blood pressure that can make you faint. So what can trigger something like that? It could be anything from intense emotional stress to physical pain. And there are often these telltale warning signs, a sudden feeling of warmth, tunnel vision, maybe some ringing in your ears. It's your body's way of saying, whoa, system overload. But look, it is not all bad news. Not at all. The incredible thing about the vagus nerve is that science has actually found ways to interact with it, to essentially reboot or stimulate it to improve our health. So let's explore how that's done.
This technique is called Vagus Nerve Stimulation, or VNS. Medically, it works a little like a pacemaker, but for your nerve. A small device gets implanted, usually in the chest, and it has a wire that connects to the vagus nerve in the neck. From there, it sends these gentle, regular electrical pulses up the nerve, all the way to the brainstem.
And what is this actually used for? Well, VNS is already an FDA-approved treatment for some very serious conditions. It's used to help control seizures in people with epilepsy, to treat depression that hasn't responded to other therapies, and it's even being used to help in stroke recovery. It's pretty amazing. But you don't necessarily need surgery to influence your vagus nerve. There's this whole growing field of research around non-invasive ways to improve what's called vagal tone. You can think of vagal tone as how responsive your nerve is. A higher tone means your body can relax more quickly after stress. And things like deep belly breathing or even a blast of cold water are believed to help strengthen it. So why would you want a strong vagal tone? Well, the research suggests it's a very, very good thing. A healthy, responsive vagus nerve is linked to the body's ability to regulate inflammation and even manage blood sugar levels more efficiently. Okay, so we've covered what it is, what it does, and how we can influence it. Let's just wrap this up by looking at the bigger picture. Why is this one wandering nerve so central to how we're starting to think about health?
Here's the big idea. The vagus nerve is the physical connection in the famous gut-brain axis. You know that gut feeling you get? That's not just a metaphor. It's very likely a real signal traveling up this nerve. This is forcing us to see the body not as a bunch of separate parts, but as this deeply interconnected system where your gut health can directly influence your mental health.
And this really shows us where all the research is heading. The future of VNS is so exciting because it might offer a totally new way to treat conditions that are driven by inflammation. By stimulating the vagus nerve, we might be able to tell the body to calm down its inflammatory response, which could be a total game changer for diseases like rheumatoid arthritis, diabetes, and even heart disease.
So if you take one thing away from this explainer, let it be this. The vagus nerve isn't just one of 12 cranial nerves. It is the information superhighway that fundamentally links what we feel in our minds with what is happening in our bodies. It connects our mental and physical health in a way that, honestly, we are only just beginning to fully appreciate.
Which leaves us with a final and pretty fascinating question. For a nerve that wanders through nearly every major system in our body, we've really only scratched the surface of its secrets. As our ability to listen to its signals gets better and better, what else is it going to teach us about ourselves?